Welcome to 21 Days of Sage Intacct for a New You, presented by LBMC Technology Solutions. Because it takes 21 days to make or break a habit, over the next 3 weeks, we'll empower you to reimagine the way that you work by providing 21 days of great tips to make a better you in Sage Intacct. Let's get started. The new you in Sage Intacct starts today. Day 15, allocating overhead costs to projects. Learn how to distribute overhead costs like utilities and administration across multiple construction projects to ensure accurate project costing. In Sage Intacct, there are many ways to do this. One of the ways would just be through a general journal entry. And so that's what we're looking at here. If we wanted to allocate, or move from overhead wages to job cost wages, we could simply do that by tagging the different dimensions. Like account is not really a dimension, it's your general ledger account. So it would move it from office wages to cost of goods sold with your project labor. So if you wanted to allocate money between those two accounts, it's simply a journal entry. So you could, choose your different dimensions: department, location, project, cost code, cost type. We are able to touch those dimensions or subledgers at the general ledger level within Intacct, which really helps allocate out to the projects or the different cost codes. So you could, move money within your internal buckets, all that you need. So you can do an allocation with a journal entry, and even with your general, like your payroll journal entry, you can tag a project, a cost code, a cost type at that subledger level, which allows you to allocate across multiple projects, locations, departments, any kind of dimensional accounting that you need to allocate across using a journal entry. You could also do the same thing with accounts payable. So if you were going to do an accounts payable bill, for example, and if we look at accounts payable bills, you would be able to see, all of those dimensions live here too. So if I drop the shade, as we call it, you'll notice we have project, cost code, cost type, class, employee, item. You're able to tag all of these dimensions with every single line on a transaction, so that then you can segregate that information out. So if you had to run a general ledger by project, knowing what's hitting those cost of goods sold accounts, that's very easy to do because these are just considered dimensions inside of Intacct. So you could allocate out a bill to include all of the different projects that you need to include, all the different cost codes among those projects on one AP bill. So if you have to spread or allocate an AP bill out to those different dimensions, it's very easy to do just based on your entries here. You would just choose those appropriate dimensions. There is also a dynamic allocations piece of the software that's an additional purchase, but it would allow you to allocate to your projects based on a percentage. So if you said, every month I want you to post a journal entry posting 13% of our overhead entire expenses to the jobs in this detail, that particular module would post that journal entry as often as you said for it to post. So you could allocate using dynamic allocations across the different projects or dimensions. So there's many ways to spread out the allocations amongst those jobs and even underneath the jobs at the cost code and the cost type level. Thank you for joining us today on our presentation of 21 Days to a New You in Sage Intacct. If you want to talk to an expert, here's our contact information. We look forward to hearing from you.